Okay, hello everyone. Very pleased to meet you all today and very pleased to introduce the representatives of the FORRT initiative, which is the acronym for Framework for Open and Reproducible Research Training. Today, they are going to speak about collating effects on replications and reversals in social sciences, and they are a very well organized team. So I'm going to pass the mic to Helena, I suppose will be the first speaker, and she's going to take it from there. Yeah, have fun, all of you.
Thank you. Yes, welcome everyone. We've already mentioned the title, so it's going to be about replications and reversal in social sciences today. And I'm going to give you a quick overview first of the team and then what we're going to do today. So yeah, I'm Helena, and then we also have Meng, who is leading the session, and Mahmoud and Flavio and Gavin, who is not here today, but who also initiated this project. And yeah, welcome from all of us over at FORRT. So just a quick schedule, what we're going to do today. So we've divided this up in kind of 3 parts. The first part is now, where we're just going to do a quick overview of the session and what we're going to do today. And then in about 5 to 10 minutes, we'll start with step 1. That will be a shorter version of like 20 minutes, and Meng will explain in a bit what it's going to be about. And then we'll have a bit of a longer step 2 that is going to be a bit more writing intensive. Yeah, so I'm going to give the word to Mahmoud, who will now explain why we're here today and what the problem is.
Thank you, Elena. So the reason why we're interested in this project is that not all published research results are reproducible and or replicable. In 2015, in the Open Science collaboration, first, can everyone hear me? Oh, fantastic, because Zoom was acting quite funny earlier. Okay, sorry. So in 2015, the Open Science collaboration showed only 40 to 65% of some of the classic results in psychology were replicated, in the weak sense of finding statistically significant findings in the same direction of the effect, less than 0 or greater than 0 effect. Also, it's been observed that reversals happen with some frequency. What I mean by reversals are basically effects that, in the context of replication, are the opposite of the original effect or the lack of the original effect. For instance, Twenge argued that there's evidence for an increase in narcissism in the leadership, vanity, and entitlement facets in young people over the last 30 years. However, Wetzel in 2017 said, actually, no, there isn't an increase. That's almost a small and slight significant decrease in narcissism in the leadership, vanity, and entitlement facets in students. So, although reversals in psychological science are often far less costly to society than medical reversals, it still pollutes the goal of science to accumulate knowledge. Nevertheless, one of the biggest problems about these reversals is that most of these are scattered around the literature, making it difficult to have an overview of studies to replicate in students' projects. Finally, reversal effects are not yet incorporated into research training or student education. Not only is this worrying, because it makes students less likely to be critical consumers of research, less able to provide balanced perspective of how the effects may occur, but also it's really important to include reversals so we can understand what are the conditions that can lead to this effect occurring, and if the effect is even true. It's therefore important to consider reversals into research training, which Ming will now discuss perhaps more onto the solutions.
Yeah, thank you, Mahmoud. So in response to the problem that Mahmoud just described, we propose a solution, aka this hackathon. So actually the ultimate goal for us is to build a curated list of either not replicated or reversal effects in the social sciences. And we sort of break it down into 2 steps. Now for step 1, the goal is to build an index sheet for replication and reversal effects. And in order to do that, we sort of going to break into a section where we brainstorm and refine the discipline and reversal effects spreadsheet. And then we move on to step 2, which is to build an open source with detailed information on reversal effects and replications. And to do that, we just fill in the entries on the Google Doc. This is where the heavy lifting is, so to speak. And then we can also sort of update the spreadsheet so that the two documents are matched. So let me get into the sort of the details a little bit more. So that's the step one. So we plan on working with this step for the first 20 minutes. And what you're looking at is the screenshot of the spreadsheet. I believe the links are already in the chat. And for this step, we will only looking at the first 3 columns and the last 3 columns. So the first 3 columns is the discipline, the name of the reversal effects, and the name of the sub-effects, if applicable. And basically what we do here is just to brainstorm, to think about your own discipline and to think about the reversal effects you've read about or you've heard about, and then you just make a contribution to the index entry. So you just add your discipline names here, then add reversal effect name here, and each effect should take 1 row, and then add sub-effects if applicable. For example, for the, for priming, we do have a lot of sub-effects, and then you can just use the second column or the third column in this spreadsheet. And you also should fill in your contributor, your name, your affiliation, and your email. This is to help us to keep a record of your contribution. For each single entry that you make, you should add your name here. But for your affiliation and email, you only need to fill them once. I hope that's a sort of a clear instruction. Any questions? So everybody clear on what we need to do for this step? Great. So let's hack away then. Oh, there is a question. Yeah, please.
Yeah, I have a question. I was wondering, I was also looking through the materials and I see that there's not really a definition of reversal effects. So what should we be looking for? Is it statistically significant in opposite directions? Is that what you're?
Yeah, what you did. Exactly what you just described. That's for the reversal effects, but we are also keeping a record of the not replicated effects. So basically you just, so we want a sort of a more comprehensive record of both. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
We have another question in the chat. Could I comment on the registered items? So if by registered items, you mean the items that are already in the spreadsheet, for sure. If there's something missing, then it's amazing if you can complete the information. The first step will be mainly to come up with new terms and new effects that are not there yet. But if you have additional information on the existing effects, of course, you can add that as well. So I just posted the links to step 1 and step 2 again. So step 1 will be the spreadsheet. If you can all access it, let me know if you can't. And then we can get started, right, Meng?
Yeah, exactly. So for during the whole sort of process, this slide will be up so that you can always refer to them to, to make sure that you know what you're doing or what you're supposed to be doing during this time. And we'll, watch out for the time and then sort of call everyone back, even though we're in the same room. So yeah, so let's hack away.
Yeah, I can start a timer, so I will.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So 20 minutes, here we go.
Just one little question. In this spreadsheet, should we be interested only in the effects that proved to be in the reverse direction or also effects that were proved to be non-existent?
I think both.
Yeah.
going to post the links again because we have someone who can now.
Just to respond to Shilon, yeah, absolutely. Could you put us in touch? It would be really great. Sounds like an amazing project also.
Yeah, sure. I'll put you in touch. I was actually surprised myself because I've been involved with a group of people on a replication review, and apparently you can use machine learning methods to just automatically collect all this data and provide an overview of it. So yeah, I'll send out an email.
Yeah, thank you, Shilon. And just for contextualization, most probably the authors and that amount of work that they put in, we're a education initiative, so it's just to create and collate a database so that other people have access to this sort of consolidated way, hopefully so they can implement in their own projects with their students and mentoring. So obviously there wouldn't be any overlap between any entries that she would contribute to our database and her ability to publish her standalone work, which should be great and cited a lot.
I'll send you a personal message over Slack or something to continue this conversation on how to send this message. Great.
maybe I have missed this detail, but is there a provisional timeline, like deadline for collecting ideas about reversals, about studies that are going to be examined regarding the reversal effects?
Yeah, so you're asking the structure for this section, right? For this session, right?
No, I'm asking structure of the project, the timeline of the project in general.
Flavio, over to you.
All right. Yeah, so ideally now we would collect these effects. So this project was initially started by Gavin Leach, and then he passed on over to us so that we could professionalize it. And that's what we're doing. We're going to conduct this hackathon, and we're going to conduct other hackathons. We hope to have a platform that allows everybody to see these effects. We're probably gonna do it in a way that is very standard across effects. So we might shift the way in which we're doing this in the next hackathons so that the data can be machine read, or that people can do machine learn approaches to gather this data and build over it. For example, as Shilan has mentioned, somebody else presented earlier. So to facilitate that, and the ultimate goal of this project, in addition to provide this as a resource, is to sort of record or register everything that we learn into a paper, and hopefully we can also draw some knowledge. So we have been gathering some experts in text analysis, and we would like to be able to derive some knowledge for the scientific community from this as well. And yeah, so if you feel like joining, this is a little long-term project, so we wouldn't finish in 6 months, but we hope that, yeah.
That's what I was aiming for, because today maybe I will, assuming the role of a moderator, I'm not entirely focused on what's going on in the GDocs, but it's really fantastic that there is time to join in case I want. Thanks.
Just a note on how FORRT works, more or less. So every contribution yields contributorship. So you would be added to the project, your name would be recognized, and you would be able to put on your CV, for example. So we have a system for that sort of thing at our chat, in which we not only expect people to use the CV, but we actually provide a FORRT CV so people can include, because it's all about recognition, right? And there's ways to do that as well. And as for the paper, is a little different because the paper is a different product than our database. And whenever we are constructing the paper, then if you are able to participate that there, you will also get the authorship as an author.
Perfectly clear.
Are we coming close to the 20-minute mark?
Yes, we have around 1 minute remaining. Okay, that was 20 minutes. Maybe everybody who is still writing can finish up their entries. Maybe we give it like 1 more minute to let everybody finish up. Of course, this doesn't mean that you cannot put new stuff in the spreadsheet from now on. If you still have loads of stuff to include, I think that that's nice, and then you can always add it also later.
Can I ask a question, meanwhile? Would we be interested in effects which have lost really a lot of their effect size as well? So it's not a reversal and it's not a full failure to replicate, but maybe it has become actually small, so small that the practical significance is debatable.
Yeah, in
Because
my
I did
opinion,
find
we could
one.
still add that. Yeah.
There's one like this in the open science collaboration, in many labs too, actually. So I'll add it.
Yeah, that's useful information.
So Meng, do we want to continue with explanation for step 2, or do you want to give it another few minutes?
How are people doing? Like, are you still, I think the sheet is still active. Like, are people still inputting entries on the spreadsheet?
Yeah, a little bit, I think.
Okay. That's a good sign. Like, a lot of effects is coming up.
Yeah, that's true.
The warm up, yeah. Maybe just 1 more minute, and then I start explaining. Of course, you can allocate. Feel free to allocate the time as you like. You know, you can keep working on the spreadsheet if you have a lot of terms to add. But in about a minute, I'll start explaining step 2. Does that work?
Okay.
And people can always come back to this sheet. It's not like it's not gonna exist. So
Okay, I think I'll get started introducing step 2, and then people can feel free to, to work on whichever step you want to. Okay, so if I can have your attention. So step 2 is really, like I said, where the heavy lifting is. That's where we will sort of fill out the entries on the Google Doc. And we've provided this really detailed sort of instructions so that you're always clear on, what you're supposed to do in this step. So first, you can just pick the effect that you want to work on first, and then you update the column called started to Y, indicating yes, you've started that entry on Google Doc. And then you can find a source for that effect, and it can be a journal article, it can be from Curate Science, etc. And then you extract information and copy it to the reversals Google Doc. We've provided the template for you, so we've used some color coding to help you understand like the structure of the text. So the words in black are standardized parts that we hope to have for each entry. And then the words in green need to be filled by you. So basically it starts out this way. Like first, a summary sentence started with the reversal effect name in bold. And then you provide a 1-sentence definition. And then you give a summary of the key trends or conclusions if applicable. You can look at the filled out example, for some references if you think the template is a little bit abstract. And for the sort of detailed statistics, we would want these entries: the original paper, the title with the link to the paper, the author year, etc. Just follow the same structure that we provided here. And then the critiques, the same thing. And then the original effect size and replication effect size. Note that we do sort of hope to have the citation information, and you can use a source of citation count like like Web of Science or Google Scholar or cross-reference, etc. And after you've completed the entry, you can update the column on GDoc to Y to indicate that this entry is complete. You're welcome to work on other entries if you have finished all of your entries ahead of time, and you can check the started column. We added that column so that people can know, the status of which entries are currently being worked on and which entries are sort of open for others' contribution as well. And just remember to put your name in the contributor column. I hope that's a clear instruction. Any questions? Nope. Okay, good. So then let's start the heavy lifting then. Yeah. And yeah, I don't think the timer is really necessary. We'll just work till the end of the session, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think we have like around 50 minutes to work on that part.
Great.
Yes, I think we're 1 minute to the end of the session, so maybe that's a good time to say some final words. Meng, do you have some?
Well, I completely lost track of time. I was still trying to.
That's a good thing, though.
Yeah, it's fun, right?
Yeah, it's fun. I hope you guys all had fun working on the entries.
Yes,
how are
it was
we doing?
super interesting.
Yeah.
It was really great. I had a great time.
Yeah, and feel free to continue to stay in touch, to join. Oh, Meng, can you show the last slide? Because I think we want, of course, to encourage all of you to join the team on Slack and to join FORRT in general. So here you get you can screenshot this slide and join us later. You can, of course, keep working and don't forget to add your names in the contributors column thing.
Yeah, exactly. We definitely want to sort of continue working on this because, as you can tell already, this is a long-term endeavor. Like, it's not going to be finished in a short time. In one hackathon, it's just impossible. Yeah. So
I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry if I interrupt. I don't know. Maybe Savannah can help if you can continue working if I leave. But I will for sure need to leave because now there is a poster session. Next session is the poster session, which I'm again moderating. So I need to get prepared for that session as well. But Savannah, if you can let me know whether they can stay and continue working, I would be grateful since she's a super master host.
Yeah, like you guys are welcome to stay in this room as long as you want. Feel free to join us in the poster sessions though. Yeah.
So we should stop recording.